Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee. In this show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, Patreon, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, wherever, guys. While you're there, go and rate, review, subscribe, then head on over to the Facebook group and Twitter account and join the discussion. Well, it is Sunday night here in Austin, Texas. Guys, hope you enjoyed your weekend because Monday will be here before we know it. But we did have some good stuff this week, of course. Now, I myself should be watching my Chicago Blackhawks take on the Vegas Knights in Game 4 of Stanley Cup playoffs. However, since I don't have cable, I don't get NBC Sports, therefore, not happening. A few of my friends, tried to give me their logins, didn't work, no skin off my back. I mean, I love my Blackhawks, but I don't see it going very well. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping we go to Game 5. I'm hoping we win the series. I really hope we do. But given how last night's game went, not hoping for the best, but I still love my team and got a lot of potential for next year, but who knows? Let's hope for the best, guys. So anyway, since I can't watch my game, I figured I would come out here and actually do my episode for the week. Now, last episode I did on a Friday. And, kind of went back to my old format, doing a couple topics instead of just one topic. Also, I feel like doing them on the weekends, like either Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can kind of recap what happened that week because not a lot of news comes out on the weekend, except for, convention news, which is what I'm going to talk about here in just a few minutes. So, it's a good time to do kind of a recap of the week. I highlight the top picks or the top stories in my eyes that I want to talk about. And then, of course, all the other topics you can either find on the Facebook group or Twitter account, and we can discuss them there, or post them yourself. I'd be glad to discuss them with you too. All right, guys, so on today's show, later on, I'm going to be talking DC Fandome. The DC Virtual Convention is next weekend, 24 hours, and they just released their schedule, guys. So I'm going to run over a few things that I want to see and maybe a few problems I see, scandals perhaps, that might put a downer on the virtual Comic-Con convention that is DC Fandome. Also want to talk Stargirl. The season finale aired last week. I'm going to talk about the season as a whole, what I think about it, maybe a few predictions I have for season 2, and I'm going spoilers, so there's your warning for that. And also, I sat down last night, or was it the night before? It might have been the night before, and watched Project Power, the fantasy superpowered film with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt on Netflix. Was released this weekend. I watched it. I'm going to talk about it. But first, I got to get to what's got my interest, guys. So this is something that, I've been thinking about, something that I've been meaning to watch, and I finally found a way to watch it. And not only did I watch it, I actually watched it with my daughter, and that is Star Trek Lower Decks. This is the animated Star Trek show that's got a little bit of a twist to it, to where it's set in the Star Trek universe, but it's pretty much a comedy, and almost kind of a raunchy comedy nonetheless, which has got a lot of longtime Star Trek fans in a little bit of a fuss, because I know a lot of people who are big-time Star Trek fans going way back in the day, and they don't really like the direction that a lot of Star Trek has been going ever since J.J. Abrams did the 2009 film. I would negate that with the fact that Star Trek at that time, before that movie, was a dead franchise, okay? Let's think about it, guys. No one was making any new Star Trek shows, no new movies. You come out with the movies, now you have several shows. I think, reinvigorating Star Trek, at least a little bit, is what Paramount wants. It's a very valuable franchise to Paramount and CBS. So, you have to hit all the bases. I talk to people about, Star Wars, and I say, you know what, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'll watch the movies, I read the books, I watch the animated series for the most part, but not everything's for me, I don't watch the Lego Star Wars, the Freemaker Adventures or whatever. I could care less about that. Why? Because that was not made for me. That was made for some little kid, for them to get into Star Wars at a young age, and hopefully they want to learn more about Star Wars. It's kind of what it's all about. This, to me, is kind of what Lower Decks is. It is a way for almost any age, I think, to really jump into the Star Trek universe, get a little taste of what goes on and what it's like, and then maybe graduate into the movies or TV shows, stuff like that. People online on Twitter were just talking about how, this is ridiculous. They're making a joke of it. And, just getting their panties in a bunch. I sat down with my daughter, who doesn't even know what Star Trek is. Okay. She has never had any interest. Can't see her ever really watching any of the movies or the TV series or anything like that. But she sat down and watched both episodes with me. The 2 episodes of airs, she's watched both of them. And we both have enjoyed them. And from there, she's asking me about Star Trek. She's asking me what are Klingons. She's asking me what's going on with the guy's headpiece, all this stuff. And this is going to be her introduction to Star Trek. And that's really what it's about, guys. Before you criticize about how funny and jokey this thing is, realize that this show is not meant for the longtime Star Trek fans. I think in a way it could be, if you're open to it, but this is a way to attract new Star Trek fans. And that's what franchises always have to do. They have to, keep diversifying other shows and things they have in order to keep the franchise fresh, and this is going to attract, not only maybe young kids, but also maybe more teenagers, younger people in general, because it's a style that they're used to with all the animated shows, like Family Guy or Bob's Burgers and all that stuff, Rick and Morty. It's in that same, I think, genre of comedy, of animation, to where I think it's much more approachable to them. They can understand it and get a little introduction into the world of Star Trek, and hopefully, again, graduate when they get older to more. Because I myself, when I was a kid, I didn't like Star Trek. My dad was a Trekkie. He liked Star Trek. I couldn't get into it. But then as I got older, I've appreciated Star Trek more and more. I still really don't watch a lot of the older movies or even the older series, but Next Generation I'll watch. And of course, some of the newer movies, and especially the 2009 Kelvin timeline ones. I like some of the comic books. So I've grown to appreciate Star Trek more as I've gotten older. And I think that's what a lot of people will do if they have a base of what Star Trek is all about. And I think this is just a way to, again, build that base. And to be honest, I like the show. Again, I find it funny as a, mid-30s male. As a guy who has some general knowledge of Star Trek and a little bit of the world, I find it very humorous and entertaining. Actually, again, because it's something very different from what we're used to getting with the franchise of Star Trek. And again, you gotta, diversify and make a little something for everyone. Otherwise, it's not going to survive. And I think Paramount has learned that. That's what they're trying to do with all the series and the animated series and all this other stuff. And I think it's going to, do pretty well. I can't say it's going to be a success, but I think they're going to be a lot better off than they were a decade ago. So Star Trek Lower Decks, if you guys have checked it out, fire back on the social media groups or dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. All right, next up, guys, we're getting to our subjects here, and I'm talking about Project Power. So this is a new Netflix series premiered Friday. Stars Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And they are 2 guys that are pursuing a drug on the streets of New Orleans that, when taken, gives people superpowers. And each person is going to experience a different power depending on who you are, of course. So, it's a drug, but it also could kill people. It's very dangerous, not only to have these people with powers running around, but also they take the pill and sometimes they don't always get powers. Sometimes they just explode or die or whatever. So I sat down Friday, watched it, and, I didn't have high expectations for the movie. The premise and the basis was good. I thought, with Jamie Foxx, I think he was probably the standout of the film, where, he had that backstory and it was pretty well developed. He did, a pretty good job. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, I think, fell a little flat, to where yes, he's a cop who wants to keep the streets clean, but you really didn't get more into the character besides his relationship with the girl in this one. What's her name? Robin, I believe is her name, right? Yeah, Robin's her name. So that's, the girl character who they were both befriending, and he got his pills, his powers from her, and you didn't really see much beyond that of why he's doing it, why he's taking these pills, why does he feel like he need it, what does it do to him, how does it make him feel, or even just a little bit of his past, which you could always do later on. But while the film I think was enjoyable, I don't really see the need for anything more beyond it. Again, I enjoyed the premise. I enjoyed Jamie Foxx's character. There could have been a lot more deeper storytelling with the characters to go that they just didn't get to, I think. And you could have done more, but they didn't get there. They were too busy trying to rush through the plot, which again wasn't bad. I think everyone did the best job they could, but is this something I'm ever going to watch again? Probably not, but who knows? I'm sure there's somebody out there that loved the film way more than I do, and that's where you guys come in. Of course, fire back, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, Twitter account, Facebook group. Let me know, have you watched Project Power? I try to do it without spoiling too much, considering it just came out a couple of days ago, so go watch the film, and then, of course, let me know what you think about it. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add that I was going to talk about in regards to this was the dual directors, Henry Jost and Ariel Schulman. These are the guys, they've directed Paranormal Activity 3 and 4. That's kind of their big directing credit. But on IMDb, it says they're set to direct a Mega Man movie based off, of course, the Nintendo character. Based off this movie, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a great thing or not, but I found it interesting, being a guy who used to play a lot of Mega Man back in the day, that these were the guys who were going to get a crack at a live-action Mega Man movie. How it'll go based off Project Power, it might go okay. It might not go okay based off this film, but we'll just have to wait and see when that time comes. Okay, next up, Stargirl had its season finale this past week. If you're like me and have been watching it on the DC Universe streaming app, I watched it on Monday, and I know, then it premieres on the CW on Tuesday night. So we got word a while back, the series has been renewed for a season 2 on the CW. It will not be on the CW Universe app going forward. And honestly, if you've been following the news as well, Jim Lee, one of the bigwigs over at DC, has been talking about how Doom Patrol that was on DC Universe is now on HBO Max. So is Harley Quinn. He's pretty much saying what we've all been thinking, which is the demise of the DC Universe app that we've had for about a year and a half now is going and gone. Now, they haven't announced the other shows like Titans and Young Justice that are going to hop over. I hope they do, mainly because those are my two favorite shows on the DC streaming service. But basically, in a little news tidbit that he got, he said all the shows are hopping over to HBO Max eventually, and the series or the app itself is going to get shut down, which is fine. I would love to see all the archived movies and stuff that they have there move over to HBO Max. Not necessarily comic books, I'm fine with that, but let's move Lois and Clark over there. Let's move Justice League animated series over there. HBO Max, they're starting to do a better job of building that library of DC stuff within the app. They started off real rough, but over the last month or two, you've seen more and more on there, which is great, and I just hope, we get everything transferred over. So when Stargirl first premiered a couple months ago, I kind of gave a review of the first episode of it, and I gotta say, compared to a lot of the other CW shows, I enjoyed it, mainly because kind of the same way I enjoyed Black Lightning, the main character is different from what we're used to seeing on a normal CW superhero show, which is, the main three. You had Oliver Queen, Barry Allen, and of course, Carol Danvers. Arrow, Flash, Supergirl. All people that are, in their mid 20s or whatever and single and living in the city and being superheroes. Black Lightning comes along and he's a hero who is of middle age, past and done being a superhero, has kids, has a family. Of course, the whole black community aspect of it all gives it a different edge too. And again, just the fact that it was different from all the other shows that we had on the CW. And now with Stargirl, it's kind of the same thing. Only we, instead of having a 20-something young person being the main star, we have someone who's supposed to be 15, 16 years old in Courtney Whitmore. Now, one thing I've also kind of enjoyed about some of the CW shows is, I think what really holds the show together is the lead of the show with Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, who's Supergirl, what's her name, Melissa Benoist, okay? Then you also have, I can't name the guy who plays Black Lightning. Okay, I'm going to skip it too. But, I think one of the reasons I never really got that far into Batwoman is because I never really got into the character. I never really got into Ruby Rose's portrayal of the character, which now I really don't think I have to bother. I could probably just pick up season 2 and be okay. But either way, I think you have to latch on to the main character. With Legends of Tomorrow, again, I think one of the reasons I didn't enjoy those first couple of seasons is I didn't enjoy a lot of the characters. Now on the show, you have a whole different set of characters, which I think are better and they work better together, which is why I enjoyed Legends of Tomorrow a lot more than what I used to. But with that, like I said, I think the girl who plays Courtney, Breck Basinger, does a good job leading. Of course, you got Luke Wilson in there supporting her as Pat Dugan. Season finale came up, and guys, I'm going to go some spoilers, so if you have not watched the season finale of Stargirl, pause, come back, and then we can discuss it on the social media accounts with that. So the ending in this last episode, I gotta say, I felt a little anticlimactic. I think they had, a pretty good build-up. There's always this cheese factor to these shows, This isn't like The Boys or Umbrella Academy, which is something that always bothered me with the CW shows, is that they are on network TV, so they can't be as hardcore as, say, a Watchmen or, like I said, the Umbrella Academy, or anything that can be on cable, or even a streaming service like Daredevil or something like that too. There's always that cheese factor, and towing the line between that cheese factor, trying to have more fun with it, is what I think a successful show does. Supergirl is touch and go, Flash, touch and go. They all have kind of their times where they're kind of going between what's really cheesy and what's really entertaining. But with Stargirl, I felt like they really had more entertaining than cheese. But again, it's mainly a bunch of kids, teenage kids. There you definitely had that cheese factor, but it was fun, It was these kids learning these powers and learning what to do with them, interacting with each other. It was something that I enjoyed for the most part. Of course, there were times there was a little bit of cheese to it, but it's okay. I always say in any movie or TV show, as long as the good outweighs the bad, that's fine with me. So with the season finale, of course, the ISA pretty much got, destroyed. Now, you do have several members that made it out. Of course, you do have, what's her name? Blah, 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 blah. Shade. No, Shade. Shade's the other guy. What's the girl's name? Cindy, right? Yeah, Cindy escaped, and she has the Diamond of Ellipso. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ellipso is a character who has the ability to possess the minds and bodies of other people. Kind of like a pink monster in the comic books. I'm sure they'll do something else with him in this next season. But Cindy has that, looking to release Ellipso. You have Shade, another predominant or dominant Flash and Starman villain that looks like he's going to pop up after the failure of the other ISA characters. And I believe, did Dragon King die? I think he died, didn't he? Obviously, Icicle and Brainwave died. And the Principal, that was that was really weird, the way she went down. But okay, but yes, Icicle went down, what's going to happen with his son? His son who, has a crush on Courtney, asked her on a date. Didn't he ask her to like a dance or something like that? Yeah, I mean, what's going on with there? That's pretty weird. I'm glad Brainwave's dead though, because damn, that guy killed his son. No, 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 he did not deserve to die, and it was Wildcat Yolanda who did it, which I found rather fitting because of, she used to date Henry and they had that relationship. Even though she was still hurt by him, I think in some way she had forgiven him in the end there for what he did, which I never really believed he was the one that did it. I thought it was all set up by Cindy, but he kind of admitted it at the end that he did. Maybe he was coerced. I think he was probably coerced by Cindy, but in any event, Yolanda kills Brainwave. And I think I want to see that dealt with as well in the next season because she's a teenage girl who killed someone. Okay? That has a psychological effect at any age, finally killing someone. I just think there's something to explore there. And also in regards to relationships, you have Rick, or Our Man, let Solomon Grundy go. This Grundy killed his parents. He had a grudge out for him, and he let him go. And I can see that growing into more of a friendship, or at least Grundy being some kind of ally to the JSA in that sense, possibly in the next season. And then kind of one of my big other question marks in regards to the next season, of course, is, the relationship between Courtney's mom, Barbara, and Luke Wilson's character, Pat. They definitely hit that rough patch in their marriage, a very new relationship, where Pat revealed some big secrets, a lot of big changes, as well as, his son got kind of thrown in there. We'll see what happens to him, Mike. And it was just, I feel like there needs to be more description or more of a talk between the two of them and, the secrets and, her realizing there's this whole other superhero world out there that she is now a part of, and maybe she doesn't feel comfortable in it as Pat would like her, or as forgiving. Maybe their marriage, I think, should face a little more rocky roads than I feel like they're going to let them. And then, of course, the big reveal at the end is that the original Starman, Pat's, partner, is alive, allegedly. We think he is. I'm not so sure it's really him, of course, but played, of course, by Joel McHale in the first episode, and then he pops up again. He's looking for Pat Dugan. I don't know. I mean, I could see it not being him, especially since that seemed like a pretty, final death he had at the beginning in episode 1. Either way, we'll see where that goes, guys. But Stargirl, I gotta say, in regards to CW superhero shows, I don't know if it's going to join the Arrowverse or not. Eventually, Black Lightning had, 2-3 seasons where they were apart from the rest of the Arrowverse, and then he got involved in the Crisis, and now he's in the universe. Stargirl, I think she's still on another Earth, if you want to tie it into, which you don't have to. You can just say it's not connected. It doesn't have to be connected just because it's DC and on the CW. It doesn't have to be connected, and I'm fine if they don't keep it connected. I would much rather see them do like different versions of some of the characters, like Soldiers of Victory, the 7 Soldiers of Victory. You had You had a Green Arrow character in there, right? Or a Speedy character. That's what it was? Yeah. It was Green Arrow and Speedy. They were there, different versions of them. That definitely wasn't Stephen Amell in there on that picture that they show. So, there are several things you can do it, much like how I'd love to see, a Green Arrow up on the big screen too. But that's another conversation for another day. But have you guys seen Stargirl, the season finale? Season 1, what did you think? Where would you rank it in the CW superhero shows? I quite enjoyed it. Not as much as, some of the other shows like Umbrella Academy and The Boys or anything like that, but it's enough to where I want to watch it next season. Don't know how I'm going to watch it because I don't like the CW app to where you have to sit through about 10 minutes of commercials per episode. And like I said, I don't have cable, so I'm not going to watch it that way. I'll figure it out. Either way, guys, fire back, of course, on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think about Stargirl Season 1. All right, guys, and lastly, I'm going to talk about today is the big virtual convention that is going to be starting on Saturday, and that is DC Fandome, guys. So, this is the big virtual convention that DC and Warner Brothers has put together for their upcoming slates. You're going to log on to your computer to DC Fandome, and you have different worlds that you're going to be able to do. You have the Hall of Heroes, the Watchverse, the Kidsverse, the Funverse, all these different areas. And within these different areas, you're going to watch different things. And it's just going to be like a live screening, of course, but it looks like they're playing stuff multiple times. So if you want to check out the Wonder Woman 84 panel, it starts off noon on Saturday, but then you get to see it, I think, 2 or 3 more times within a 24-hour period. And that's kind of what it is you have to log out within 24 hours and catch what you want if you want to see it. But let's be honest, in today's technological age, guys, somebody somewhere is going to record all these and post them on YouTube or somewhere online. So if you don't get to watch them during that 24-hour period, chances are you're going to be able to find a way to watch them somehow. Now, a few weeks ago, Comic-Con did a virtual con. First time you couldn't go to Comic-Con in San Diego like you always could, so they did virtual Comic-Con. And as a guy who's never been to San Diego Comic-Con because I can't afford to go, plus getting tickets are hardly impossible, I enjoyed it because usually I'm the type of guy that'll try to log onto YouTube and watch a panel that has been taped by somebody with their camera that's, 10, 15 rows back or whatever, and trying to watch it. With this, you had good video quality, interviews with the cast or creators of what you wanted, and, we still got our special previews in there too. I enjoyed it. Now, I can see the idea of, future cons. You can still pay for your ticket to go. And then if you want to pay for maybe a small little admission to watch it virtually, I think that's a market that a lot of people, a lot of conventions haven't really tapped into yet. You could pay $100 for a ticket, but if I can pay $20 to watch it here at home, that's great. I don't get to, get the free swag, which, is what I love to get when I go to Star Wars Celebration and go to the panels. I don't get to submit a question in person like you can do when you're at the panels and go up to the microphone. I don't get that experience. But if all I want to do is get the information and watch the actual panel and watch them answer the questions, for a quarter of the price, I'd pay that so I could watch it virtually. I honestly would. But DC Fandome looks like, they're taking kind of the same approach where it's all virtual panels and you're all going to get the info you want on DC. And there's, a couple of them that I'm really looking forward to, of course. You have, starting off at noon, the Wonder Woman 1984 panel. Of course, Patty Jenkins directing. Gal Gadot's back as Wonder Woman. Chris Pine is back. You got other people there like Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. It could be very interesting. Maybe we'll get some more footage. I hope we will, at least, with that one. Later on, you got the Flash panel with Ezra Miller. And who's directing these days? Who says conversation with filmmakers Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti, star Ezra Miller and screenwriter Christina Hodson will give fans a speedy rundown on the first ever Flash feature film. It's only 10 minutes long too, but given how many writers and directors the thing's gone through, those names might not be attached by the time the film comes out. You got a Suicide Squad panel at 2 o'clock, which is going to be, of course, with James Gunn, director, and cast and crew is going to be there. You also have the Snyder Cut of Justice League panel. That's right. That's the big one. I have to work on Saturday, but I should be home in time to see that one. Of course, we're supposed to get our first trailer of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And of course, you can be sure that people are going to, be screaming like girls at a boy band concert when the trailer comes out, and we'll be hearing all about it, and I'm sure you'll hear all about it online. Black Adam panel. After that, guys, Dwayne Johnson sets the stage and story for the tone of the new movie with first Q&As. I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. Not much. I don't even know who's directing that even. I don't know who's directing that movie. He's been attached to that movie for years now. They say they're finally going to get a release date. They finally put down a release date. I don't know. We'll see. Aquaman panel coming up 6 o'clock on Saturday. Director James Wan and Patrick Wilson take a deep dive into the world of Atlantis, that Wan creator, revealing their favorite behind-the-scene moments from the largest DC movie ever. The most successful definitely hit $1 billion. I don't know if the Joker did more money or Aquaman did. I'll have to look that up later. But it was the first, DC EU film with a shared universe to hit $1 billion. Wasn't Justice League, wasn't Batman v Superman, it was Aquaman. Take that, all you haters. But I don't know if they're going to talk about the sequel, because I think the Aquaman sequel is still a couple years off. But it's Aquaman. I'll check it out. Ask Harley. This should be interesting, of course, where you have her answering burning questions from DC's biggest fans in her own tell it as is, no BS style. Any fan of the Harley Quinn animated series, this is one you cannot fucking miss. There you have it. Love the Harley Quinn animated series. I'm really enjoying it. Kaylee Kuto does the voice. Enjoying it, so it should be interesting to watch that. Shazam panel. Of course, we got Shazam 2 coming out. Zachary Levi and the cast can't tell you shit. Sworn to secrecy on the new script for their upcoming movie, Zach and a few of Shazam castmates talk about the Philippines' #1 DC fan about what the next movie might be about, while commenting on everything from panels to the other Zach's cut, and even have quite a few guests drop in. I don't even know what that is, but like I said, we might get some hints about what's going on in Shazam 2, possibly Black Adam. 7:30, Matt Reeves joins by Robert Pattinson, and they're going to be talking the Batman film that's coming out. That should be a pretty big one to talk about. And then from there, in regards to the Hall of Heroes, it's kind of repeating itself a little bit, but that's kind of like the movies is what it is. Overall, on the Watchverse side, you have a lot of the TV stuff. You have started off at noon on Saturday, the Flash panel, Black Lightning, Pennyworth, a show which I have watched the first 4 episodes, I believe, of this, season 1. They haven't started season 2 yet. I enjoyed it, actually. I want to watch the rest of the season. It's not at my public library, so I can't get it for free. I don't really want to pay for it too much, but I definitely want to check out the rest of season 1 of Pennyworth, because the episodes that I watched were really, really cool. DC Legends Tomorrow panel, that's going to be on there. Doom Patrol. What else you got? Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, the Superman and Lois show that's coming out, I believe, in the winter. They're doing a panel for that. Probably the biggest thing in the Watchverse that I want to check out, though, is they're premiering the newest DC animated movie, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Now, this is the first one. It is not connected. They ended the DC animated shared universe that started with Justice League Flashpoint Paradox and ended a month or two ago with Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, right? That ended. Now we're doing standalone stories as far as what I've been hearing. Superman, Man of Tomorrow, it's a new Superman origin. It looks to be, a mixture of a lot of origin stories, but it's Superman. As a Superman fan, I love any more recognition this guy gets over maybe Batman or Wonder Woman. I'm going to just say that there. But watching it, I'm going to check it out, and it'll be fun. And I can't wait to see and review that movie. Lucifer, Titans, Young Justice, cast, audio, play, performance, and panel. I was kind of hoping for some more, information about the next season of Young Justice. They said it's coming. We don't know when. We haven't even heard much about it, but I was hoping to get some information about new Young Justice. You got a Stargirl panel, Batwoman panel, all that kind of stuff, Harley Quinn panel. That's all going to be in the Watchverse, or what I call the TV verse is what it is. Then you have a kids verse, where, this is something my daughter would definitely enjoy, especially since she does enjoy Teen Titans Go. You have an Ask Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Raven. You also have DC Karaoke, which is sing along to your favorite tunes from Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls. I don't think she really watches DC Superhero Girls, but she watches Teen Titans Go. So, she might be into that. Teen Titans Go Fitness. I'll have to have her check this out. Let the Teen Titans inspire your body and mind to give you a full booty superhero workout on demand. Well, there you go on that. And then Titans Tower Game Central. Chill into the Titans living room and get your game on as you play DC-inspired video games. That, of course, like I said, is over in the Kidverse. Uverse, you have a lot of cosplay stuff, fan art, says something about a virtual run. The Funverse, you get inside looks like some cool stuff with the Batcave. Customize your DC Chevy Trailblazer. Selfie Station should be pretty cool. What else we got here? Official DC Fandome store. So there we can get your merch. You can get it right there, guys. And then the last, you have the Insiderverse, which looks like has to do with artists and drawing and creators and spotlights on heroes and all this other stuff. You have a thing about behind the magic behind the cape, which is kind of an inside look at how the original Christopher Reeves film, they made him fly. You also have inside episodes from Smallville, Arrow, Flash, Gotham, Krypton, Supergirl, Black Lightning, all these, things that, you can watch, and little behind the scenes things, I guess. This one looks interesting here. Long live Superman. Of course, I'm a Superman fan. Superman is a symbol for hope across the world. Hear the story of how the man of tomorrow will always be the hero we need today. Preach on about that. Okay, I'm definitely checking that one out. But that gives you a little bit. In 24 hours, all this is going up. Some of it will always be there. Some of it is on a schedule, guys. I know the hot stuff is going to be the Hall of Heroes with the movies and the Watchverse with mainly the TV stuff. I plan on checking out some of this other stuff like the Insiderverse, the Funverse. It's very interesting that it's going to be up for 24 hours. But like I said, I think in today's modern age, you're going to see some of it recorded and posted back on YouTube or somewhere else. But that's going to be on Saturday. I know I get off early work on Saturday, so I should be able to catch at least the Snyder cut of Justice League. And then I can rewatch the other stuff later on. Sunday, I'm not sure if I'm working or not, but I can just get up early to end Sunday at noon. I can just, get up early if I have to work and, fill in on whatever I want. But that's it, DC Fandom. Now, before I end this subject, here are 3 things that might go wrong. Yes, DC has this virtual convention going on right now, but they've been the subject of a lot of bad press lately. Most namely, Warner Brothers made huge cuts to not only, the company itself, but also DC, laying off a lot of people, of course, and, canceling quite a few of their comic books too, which means, again, more cuts in the labor. So with that, 2 weeks, a week before the convention, I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed by them and to reassure fans that, hey, we had to restructure, we had to let some people go, but you know what? This is the world we're living in right now, and we're going to do our best to still provide you great content, and also hopefully those people that were let go possibly help them find something else because they're such talented people. They can find something else. I don't know. I feel like they just need to address it in some way because it's bad PR. Right before you come with a big convention that you lay off, not really, the big wigs. I mean, there are some higher ups that went down, but mostly I think it was a lot of the lower people. And as a guy who is currently with a company or works for a company where it feels like the little guy is getting shit on while the big guys aren't really suffering, I don't really am down with that. So I want them to explain that. Number 2, Ray Fisher, aka Cyborg, will not let his beef with the production of Justice League go. He's come after Joss Whedon, saying he had bad behavior on set. He's come after Jeff Johns, and he's also, come after the producer, who I can never remember his name. And all of this with him being the only one. He said he's under It was an NDA where he can't talk about it because it's under contract. And he says he has other people that want to talk about it if they can't. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying his allegations are wrong. But if he's the only one talking and nobody else is, and he's saying he can't talk because he's under contract, it's a whole big story. And, the fact that he's attacking not only, Joss Whedon, but some big higher ups, some important people at DC, like Jeff Johns, I think this needs to be addressed as well. Someone needs to tell him, look, either come up with your proof or let it go. And that's the way I see it. And I'm probably going to get some hate messages with that little comment there, but oh well, that's the way I feel about it, okay? You don't want to keep crying wolf, but show me some goddamn wolves at some point. Otherwise, I'm not coming back again. And then the third thing that I think they need to address in this is Ezra Miller himself is going to be on the Flash panel, okay? Ezra Miller has been in a controversial, whatever. He got some hot water on video a few months back for choking someone outside of a bar. And DC, nor Warner Brothers, nor Ezra Miller himself have ever addressed it. You want to tell me it's a joke? That's fine. You want to take the girl out on stage, tell me, oh, it was all a joke, we're cool, or it wasn't a joke and I lost my head, but we're cool now. Give me something, because you're trying to sweep it under the rug, okay? And those of us who are in this world that know, about the Flash is coming, that follow the celebrity sightings, we're not going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to keep bringing it up because it has tainted my idea of Ezra Miller, who, to be honest, I didn't have a high opinion of to begin with. He's a great actor, but, a lot of great actors are weird in real life. I think he's one of those type of people in either event, but I think Warner Brothers trying to hide this guy who's part of two big franchises, the Wizarding World franchise and their DC franchise, trying to hide this little scandal or not mention it because he's such an important part of both, I think is bullshit. Okay, so let's talk about the good and the bad, okay? I'm the type of person, I don't thrive on controversy, but the great Ivana said once, understanding is reached only after confrontation. Words to live by, words I have lived by. Give us the good, but give us the bad too. Level with us, make us seem like we're actual people and not just like dogs chomping at the bit for little scraps, okay? Because we're more intelligent than that, or some of us are at least. And I think these are things that need to be addressed on top of all the other good little morsels that we're going to get hopefully next weekend. But you guys let me know, do you think these things should be addressed on top of the other good stuff? What are you looking forward to, DC Fandom? Are you planning on checking anything out, or are you just going to wait for the news to come out and just, pick up what the highlights were? Fireback, Facebook group, Twitter account, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. And that is that, folks. That is it for me today, of course. Going to be a good week. It's Sunday, guys, so get started off on the right foot. I'm off the next couple days. Hopefully get some quality time with my daughter. Hopefully get some stuff done around the house. It's going to be awesome. So I will be back next weekend. Probably going to do another Sunday show because I'm going to talk about all the DC Fandom stuff is what it's going to be about. Whatever else pops up, we'll see. But I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about in regards to news with DC Fandom. So it might be just about that. Either way, I hopefully will see you there. And until next time, guys, may the force be with us all.